What's good, everybody? It's a shot caller coming at y'all again. It's just me and Robin right now, but it's opening night and opening week. Opening couple of days for the NBA. This is Golden State Warriors like second game already. So, but still, it's opening week. We coming at y'all real quick. But first, welcome to the channel. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, comment. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss any episodes or when we go live. And then also make sure y'all follow us on Twitter and Instagram. And then finally, we're also everywhere, virtually everywhere. You can find a podcast. We're on Anchor FM, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher Breaker, and Pocket Cast. So now that we got that out of the way, you like how I hit that. I got through it pretty quick. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, yeah, you
Yeah,
did.
yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. Let's go ahead and hop right into it. You trying to talk about Dallas in Atlanta?
Yeah, you want me to give you a quick recap?
Yeah, yeah, go
A
ahead,
quick,
go
like,
ahead. Hit me
real quick
hit
recap. Okay.
yeah, hit me with it. It's a
Uh,
little sad, but okay.
it's a little sad, but
Yeah.
we gotta be unbiased here. So in the first quarter, it was a close game. Low scoring game. Defense was taking over. Second quarter, offense started taking over for both teams. Pretty consistent. I think it was a Hawks 7, 8 point game. Third quarter, the Hawks just started attacking the paint, took over. Mavs threes were not falling. And fourth quarter, every time Mavs try to make a run, Hawks would bounce back right away.
Mhm.
And I think it was a 20 something point game.
Yeah.
The final score was, I think I have it in front of me, 113, 87, 26 point game. The Hawks outscored the Mavericks by 19 in the second half.
Mm. Yeah, tough. It was tough for the Mavericks. I was looking forward or it looked like a, back and forth game in the first half, but Luka really couldn't get anything going like uh I think John Collins talked about it after the game, but DeAndre Hunter, right?
Yeah, DeAndre Hunter
Yeah,
was playing
yeah.
defense on
I
Luka.
know. He was playing great defense on Luka. Like it was really weird to see, Luka kind of struggle like that. Cuz I mean, I feel like the only guys he really struggles to get your or on offense against is against like Ben Simmons. And that's pretty much it. Uh and that's cuz Ben Simmons is a oversized point guard pretty much, so just like Luka. So but, yeah, he gave him some work, and then also, like, I don't know if you noticed, but they were also talking about it during the game, but, like, Luka, wasn't complaining as much, to the refs and all that kinda stuff. Did you see that?
Yeah, I think they were talking about Jason Kidd told him, you
Yeah,
can't really control what the refs do, Luka. You got to play your game. If it gets
mhm,
called, it gets called, but
mhm.
you can't get your head out of the game.
Yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, Luka really couldn't get anything going. I feel like Kristaps was okay, I think. Like, he had, like 3 or 4 blocks, right? In this
Yeah.
game, I feel like he wasn't, really bad. He wasn't bad defensively. He was pretty okay. Offensively, he's still working out some kinks, getting his shots. Um, well, how do you feel about Jason Kidd's kind of philosophy on the Mavericks, trying to get him to shoot more mid-range?
I think, I mean, Luke is deadly for mid-range. It seems like every time he's shooting a mid-range shot, it's going in. Every
Mm,
time he's shooting a three-point shot, he has his struggles from there. But
mhm.
I think Kid's overall approach is not going to be something that you'll see in one day
Yeah,
or one game, I should say. It's going to be something that we might not even see hit full stride until I want to say close to after Christmas, January-ish time. Just because Rick Carlisle has had this offense going on for 13 seasons
yeah,
about. So when a whole new coach comes in there, first the players are gonna have to buy in, but two, the fans are too. Because I
yeah,
was on Twitter today, and people were going crazy after one game on Mavs Twitter. I'm like, it's one game under a
yeah.
new coach.
I I think I saw a lot of people, flaming Porzingis on Twitter too. But I was
Yeah, they
like,
said that he's not that
yeah,
aggressive. When I thought
yeah,
he actually looked for more aggressive
yeah,
shots
yeah,
today,
yeah, uh-huh,
we saw some flashes of it. I'm not gonna say it was consistent all game, but
yeah,
it is game one. I can say the biggest thing that I saw today from the Mavericks were they just couldn't take advantage of the mismatches. I
Hmm.
mean, Dorian Finney-Smith is being guarded by Trey Young,
Yeah, yeah.
and then KP is being guarded by John Collins, and even Charles Barkley was talking about it during the halftime show. But it doesn't matter how the game has gone to three-point shots, how KP is more of a jump shooter. He can shoot the ball really, really effectively. When a guy is smaller than you, a guy is smaller than you. If a guy is bigger
Mhm.
than you, then you take him from the perimeter. But if he's smaller, you back him up. And if this is the Jason Kidd saying where this is going to be the unicorn from New York, this game I saw some flashes of it, but
Mhm.
for the Mavericks to take that next step, I need to see this every game throughout the game, not just in the first quarter or the second quarter, then it goes away.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, you're definitely right there. And then the thing is, not taking advantage of the matchup, doing Finney Smith on Trey Young, like Smith probably has to take on a little bit more of a playmaking role because
Yeah.
he's pretty decent at handling the ball. He's definitely got some passing skills. His shot creation isn't there, but you could definitely try and make something happen off of the mismatch of Trey Young being on you instead of being relegated to the corner. And even if you were really put in the corner or whatever, you can still try and make some cuts and kind of make yourself available and things like that. But also you know Atlanta played a great game. They showed us that they made it to the Eastern Conference Finals last season for a reason. Like they're no team to sleep on. And especially those young guys that they got back. Cam Reddish and DeAndre Hunter. Like I said, like getting them back is gonna be huge for their success. And uh, I think going back to my my season predictions, I had them like either in the 3 to 5 seeds. So it looks like they're gonna keep up that level of play.
Yeah, I mean, it's only one game, so we really can't say much now. So this is more of a overreaction. I like to say
Yeah.
this every at the beginning of the year, just like the Cowboys game after week one when they lost to the
Yeah.
Buccaneers. It's that overreaction, like oh, our
Uh,
offense couldn't was it consistent? That's all football talk. But I mean, it's a one game out of 82 games. We're back at a full season, so I mean, last year they were like 15 and 17 at one point, and they went on
Yeah,
this crazy run. And two things that I had down is Atlanta points in paint. I didn't look at the stats. I just felt like they were getting killed, and it ended up being Atlanta had 46 points in the paint, and the Mavericks only had 26. So that could show you that
yeah,
the Mavs made a lot of offseason additions, and I loved them. I was a big fan of getting more shooters for Luka, but I also thought that our biggest need was either a dominant big man if KP can't step up to it, but if he
mhm,
can, we need another ball handler who can create his own shots. That is consistent. Brunson is good, Hardaway is good, but we need an actual true third star. Because
yeah,
Hardaway now in the NBA, it's like everyone who does has flashes of greatness is a star. Hardaway's not a star. He's gonna be one of your, but like he's gonna be more
like
like a KCP type player for the Lakers when they won the championship.
yeah,
Like
I was
he's in the
thinking like
starting lineup
that,
and consistent.
maybe like a JT, Jason Terry type player.
Exactly. Yeah, he's gonna be that sort of player on your roster who's gonna step up in big moments, but you don't have to rely on him to drop 20 points a game with your two 25 plus a game players.
Yeah, yeah, I was gonna say it's a little bit tough for the Mavericks when your second best shot creator is Jalen Brunson.
Yeah.
No disrespect to Jalen Brunson, but
Yeah.
like unless he takes like a big step this season, we're gonna need somebody to step up or get somebody in that's new. And then also like yeah, especially points in the paint. I mean, the Dallas doesn't really have like a really great rim protector, unless they sub Porzingis out and they have Moses Brown in for more minutes, like maybe more defensive minutes over like maybe
Yeah.
like Willie Cauley Stein because I think Willie Cauley Stein is a little bit undersized, but uh so I mean that's something that Dallas has to adjust to, going throughout the season, lineups. But and I also feel like they didn't play Reggie Bullock that much either.
Yeah,
Uh, uh, but Atlanta looked good, and
they did.
Dallas has stuff to work out, but I as long as Dallas doesn't get into a hole early, I mean, because they got into a hole like early last season, but they still ended up being the fifth seed.
Yeah,
But as long as they don't get into a hole, early this season, I feel like that they'll still be pretty solid.
yeah. I mean, my key takeaways before I actually have some questions for you, but my
Yeah,
key takeaways were we're overreacting because the Mavs are not always going to shoot. What are they? 13 for 43. They're not always going to shoot
yeah,
30% from three. They're a
yeah.
top five offensive team, probably a top five shooting team, but that was with Rick Carlisle. So we
Hmm.
don't know if they're going to be able to adjust this quickly, but their shooting goals, at least, because they had a lot of open looks today, are not going to be this bad. But the amount of threes they take, I don't think it's concerning, but I think if Jason Kidd comes in and he's a whole different philosophy from Rick Carlisle, I think that number is also going to go down a lot more than it was today. Um, and especially if KP, who I thought showed signs of aggressiveness and more comfortability on the floor without Rick Carlisle's, I guess, offense putting him in the corner at times, I saw him migrate to the corner at times, and I was like, maybe he's just not comfortable yet, or it's a work in progress. But if that all works out good, then the Mavericks, are gonna get better, obviously, from last year. But not just about the Mavericks. Atlanta is deep. Like I
Yeah,
didn't
they
think
are.
they were this deep. Like I remember in the playoffs they were good, but I forgot they were out with DeAndre Hunter, I think.
Yeah, and they got Cam Reddish back like I think during the
Mm,
Milwaukee
Yeah,
series,
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
not for the 76ers or maybe like late in the 76ers series.
Yeah, so I mean, them two with Cam Reddish is stepping up big time. Their starting lineup is good. They're
Yeah.
without Lou Will and Gallinari still.
Hmm.
I mean, they are deep and they have underrated defense with Capella out there and John Collins.
Yeah. I think I remember hearing like during the game that, I think in the first half, like the bench was like outscoring the starters for Atlanta.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah,
mean,
they
Trey Young didn't have the best of games,
mm-mm.
but the bench bailed them out. John Collins and Capella's defense didn't allow any Mavericks buckets basically in the paint.
Yeah.
I mean, they just played a complete game, and your best player doesn't even play good at all, but everybody else did their part, which is scary.
Hmm.
Um, okay, my way too early questions for you.
All right, go ahead.
Is Atlanta for real?
I
With the
like
rosters and everyone healthy, and
I think
maybe what you saw for this game, but don't judge it off just this game.
I think Atlanta's for real. I mean, like you said, Gallinari and who was the other guy that you said was out?
Lou Will.
Yeah, Lou Will. I mean, they're not critical pieces, but when you get them back, like they can give you productive minutes. They can create for you. They can make their playmakers. They can make something happen, and if they can keep these younger guys healthy, like if Trey stays healthy, obviously, and Cam Reddish and DeAndre Hunter, like if they can stay healthy, and then you already have John Collins and Clint Capella, some pretty athletic bigs that give you defense in the paint, and also I mean I think you saw it from John Collins a little bit today, a little bit of moves in the post, like he had a fadeaway jumper one or fadeaway jumper. I think he had it like almost like a hook shot type thing too. But yeah, I think they're for real. I think they're pretty serious in the East, especially with this coaching change that they've gotten. Uh, like we saw it ever since last season. They changed their coach, and their coach has now optimized them to play to the best of their ability, and now they've got some talented guys back. So yeah, I think Atlanta's gonna be good.
Okay, okay. And my next last question is after the and so do I. So do
Yeah.
I basically.
Yeah.
But from the Mavs offseason moves, I know we're still a big fan of them, but do you
Mhm.
think they messed up or missed out on getting another playmaker slash shot creator?
It's a little, I mean, it's a little tough to tell. I mean, I guess they had options. One option was to get a new shot creator. Uh, but I guess like ever since they got Jason Kidd in, they had a philosophy of what they wanted to do with the team, and uh that instead of or that they had the keys to success already, but they just need to make some adjustments pretty much. They got a bigger wing defender, they got a bigger center and Moses Brown. They got another 3 and D guy, is it Sterling Brown, I think.
Yeah,
Uh and Daniel said in the chat he that he thinks that they're gonna gamble on midseason trades. What's up, Daniel? Uh,
yeah, Daniel.
Last off season was weak. Only older tenured players, not much movement. Yeah, yeah. I kind of agree with that. So they potentially, like, I thought Kyle Lowry would have been a good move for Dallas, but obviously that didn't happen. And it's just weird with Dallas. They're never able. It feels like they're never able to get, like, they're always in talks to getting a pretty decent star,
A big
yeah,
name, yeah.
yeah, big name, and they always fall out of it. So, but I think if this season, doesn't go to, if it leads to like another first round exit or worse, like I feel like they have to, like, get another playmaker
I
along with them.
think our big move this year was KP playing like how he should. And I
Yeah,
think if he doesn't play
yeah,
like how he should, I think we're gonna
yeah,
see big roster changes next year.
yeah, yeah. Uh, yeah, I wonder if they're gonna agree with like Jason Kidd's, kind of approach to it too. But maybe that'll probably take longer, but we'll see how it is.
Are you ready to move to the next game?
Yeah, yeah. Let's go ahead and get to the much more. I think we can
This game
agree
was nice.
that yeah, this game was exciting.
This might have been the game of the week, next to that Knicks game.
Yeah, yeah.
The
It
Knicks game
might have.
was nice.
Yeah, the next game was like, yeah, we
Celtics game, yeah, that game was real good.
yeah, bro. Uh, on a side note, I think it's kind of criminal that Milwaukee and the Heat weren't on the national TV stage.
But what game would you have replaced today?
I mean, yeah, that's a good point. That's a little tough, but I mean,
I
Miami.
mean, thank God it wasn't on TV because it was a blowout from the start.
Yeah, I mean, Miami blew them out though, which is interesting, but uh, anyways, we'll see Miami later on in the season. There's no problems there, but yeah,
Go,
Clippers
yeah,
at
go ahead and
Golden
give it.
State. All right, so this was kind of a roller coaster type battle right from the start. Like, first quarter, Curry's going off 25 points in the first. Hit all 10 of his shots. After that, in the second quarter, Clippers come back, they make a run. They sit Curry, they think, or Golden State kind of relaxes a little bit, and the Clippers kind of took advantage of that and able to come back in this game. And it was a battle back in the third. Ever since that first quarter, Curry was kind of struggling until fourth quarter hits, and then he's able to hit a couple big shots. Uh, PG hit a big shot. Reggie Jackson hit some big shots. So it was really back and forth until the end, but Golden State was able to close it out in the end. It was pretty fun.
Dude, Steph Curry, I think hit his like first 9 shots. This
Yeah,
guy was going crazy in the first quarter.
yeah, bro. Uh, I mean, LeBron was tweeting about it. You know what I mean? Like, like, yeah, yeah,
I think when Steph Curry or Damian Lillard go on those runs,
hmm
like you have to watch. Like it doesn't matter
yeah,
what you're doing. Like
yeah,
you
bro.
have to turn on the TV and you just have to watch the game. And Steph Curry had that game today. Like he kind of got a little cold, and his turnovers were making me mad. I
hmm
think he had like 7 turnovers, 6 turnovers.
hmm
Those were making me mad because those were really sloppy. But it is the first game, and he is having to do a lot more still with Klay Thompson out. But if they can limit those turnovers and play how they play today, I think they can still win games until Clay comes back. But I don't know if were watching that exact moment, but early in the fourth quarter, I think he went out and they went scoreless like for a long time.
Hmm.
Like with Steph Curry's out and Draymond Green's out because they usually come in together and they go out together. So whoever is in when, obviously Curry and Draymond aren't in, who's gonna step up? Who's gonna
Hmm.
be able to get you a couple buckets here and there just so if Steph had a lead or if they were in a close game, who's gonna keep them in that same game so Steph can do his thing at the end of the game like he did tonight?
Yeah, yeah, it's really tough. Jordan Poole didn't have the greatest of games. Really excited off of last season, where a lot of people were high on him, because the last season and then the preseason. He had a good game against the Lakers on Tuesday, but this
Yeah.
game, it wasn't, it wasn't as good. Um, and so I think you'll kind of expect that from Poole this season. I mean, a lot of people are saying the expectations really high for him, but I think he'll hit it sometimes. He'll be a little up and down, but I expect to see good things out of him. But yeah, it needs to be him. It needs to be Wiggins. I mean, they gave him I think a max contract. I think which I don't agree with. But what can you do? I mean, like I don't like Wiggins, but he's valuable to the team, I guess. But I think
He's
he
like
was
a
the second.
Harrison Barnes.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of. I think he finished the game like he was the second highest scorer for the Warriors. I think he had 17, but
Yeah.
like all his buckets feel like unimpactful. Like it's he's there for defense, and then sometimes he makes boneheaded plays. Uh, uh, he's kind of
And then
yeah. What?
I was gonna say, and then what? Bonehead plays, and then what?
No, I don't know. I don't know how to finish that. What were you gonna say?
I was trying to help you out finishing.
No, I mean I was gonna compare him to Kuzma. Like he's
Oh,
doing that. Like
you can't compare nobody to Kuzma.
I could compare Wiggins to Kuzma because they'll both be like, oh, they're looking really good right now. Maybe they'll hit their potential right now or blah blah blah, and then like maybe on like the next play they're like doing some dumb shit like I think like at one point in the game, Wiggins like couldn't catch a pass or it was off his
How's
leg
that?
or
How's that
something.
dumb shit?
Well, you're supposed to catch the ball.
You a Wiggins hater. Last year you were a Middleton hater. This year you're
No,
a Wiggins
no,
hater.
I was
I already know it. I already know it.
no, no. See, the difference between Wiggins and Middleton is like Middleton, I was hard on him. I wasn't a hater. I was just like, bro, you can do better. You cold, but you gotta do better. Wiggins is just like, bro, get like, come on, dude. Like,
You sound like
yeah,
Shaq.
yeah. He in my opinion, he just unimpactful. Like he just trash. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. But
Man,
he provides good defense and back to the Steph turnovers. Like I don't know if you caught this one, but like one of his turnovers was just like kind of silly. Like he pulled up from deep, but he got his defender jumping. But he
yeah,
almost jumped
yeah,
into him. But
yeah.
he tried to bail himself out. He's like, oh, I can't do that anymore, and he tried to pass it to Draymond, but Draymond wasn't ready for it. Uh, so Steph's gonna have to deal with that kind of, breaking that habit a little bit, from the
Yeah.
past couple of years. Uh, let's pull up this Daniel comment. It's hard for Steph to carry the energy alone. Draymond is just loud, but he's not a playmaker. They don't have anyone like
Said
Barnes
he's not a playmaker.
or Ingondala back in the day. No,
Desquali Daniel, shout out.
no, I mean I kind of disagree that I mean Draymond is definitely a
Draymond has seven
playmaker.
assists.
Yeah, yeah. I
I
mean I
mean,
wouldn't say
Steph Curry is definitely the focal attention, so that's why
yeah.
he get turnovers is because he in his mind he needs to shoot as much as he can,
Hmm.
but he's one of those players who doesn't want to take a bad shot. Or
Yeah.
obviously when he pulls up from like 40 feet, it's a bad shot in my eyes and Paul George's eyes. But
Nah,
that's a
that's
bad shot, but it's for him it's a normal shot, but he doesn't want to take too many of those shots and get the rest of his team out of rhythm. So no other turnovers are going to come, but some of them were just stupid. It'd be different if you get doubled and then they hit you with a different look the next possession, but some of them were just throwaways. Like he jumps, gets caught in the air, throws it away. He thinks Draymond's cutting, throws it away. It was just dumb turnovers. I mean, Draymond only had one turnover to his 7 assists. So Draymond was, I think he has a little bit more rhythm with the other players besides Steph, because Steph is the one usually getting the handoffs or the passes to shoot. But I mean, Jordan Poole had 7 turnovers. I don't even know who this guy is. I mean, obviously I know who he is, but like, you know what I mean?
damn.
Like, he can't have 7 turnovers.
Yeah,
Like, he
yeah.
almost had half their turnovers by himself. He had a third of them. So he just can't do that. But I think obviously over time, I mean, my highlights for the game were Curry and Draymond need to limit turnovers. And I said Draymond as well because some of them were on him with the confusion of Curry thought he was cutting this way, but he cuts this way and the ball goes this way. So it's kind of on both of them. So I put Draymond in there, but they are the leaders right now. I mean, they're even gonna be the leaders when Clay comes back because everyone thinks when Clay comes back, they're gonna just take off. But people have to understand, like when Victor Oladipo came back, KP came back, even with KD somewhat. KD rested for a while, but when those players come back, you're gonna still be rusty for about a month. Now it's Clay Thompson, so I don't really know. He might just go off in his first game,
Yeah, yeah. I
but
mean, it's because for him, like he doesn't even need to dribble.
yeah.
Like he doesn't need
So
to think. He just need to shoot.
I forgot he's a Splash Brother, so maybe not him, but still, but getting into game speed,
Yeah, yeah.
fatigue, game,
Mhm,
game shape, like that's still going to be about a month's work of just for him to do. So, Draymond and Curry are going to have to do what they can.
mhm.
And then I put also uh Clippers. So we really haven't touched on the Clippers as much. First, you shot me a text about it, but when Paul George was barking at the referee at the free throw line was
I'm
hilarious.
Bro, I'm surprised they left that in, bro. I was expecting a mute, but they never muted it. And he goes,
Which I loved it. I loved it.
yeah, yeah, bro. You love to hear it. Like you feel like you get more immersed in the game like that. You know what I mean? Like, eh, and the thing is too. I mean, I guess I kind of get why they didn't mute it because I mean he didn't really cuss. I mean he did cuss one time, but
Yeah, he did
uh,
cuss.
yeah, yeah, he did cuss one time, but for the majority of it, he wasn't cussing like every other word. You know what I mean? He was
Yeah,
kind of he was getting loud, but I was surprised how clear you could hear it too. Like I think I was looking at something else and I hear him talking and I'm like, bro, what the hell? But yeah, also yeah, shout out to the Clippers. Like again, they're showing why they got it or they got themselves to the Western Conference Finals. It just shows how kind of unlucky they are because if they have Kawhi, in the Western Conference Finals, they probably make the finals. Uh,
yeah,
if
yeah,
if if I feel like the Clippers are gonna they're going to be in a lot of close games this season. I feel like without Kawhi, so we'll see how their record turns out. It could be pretty good because I feel like they can compete with a lot of guys. But I don't know how well they're going to close games.
yeah,
Uh, so we'll have to see how it is there. But yeah, like they're definitely competitors. But they're just going to be stuck like grinding it out for every win without Kawhi. Uh,
yeah. I mean,
my bad for my mom. I don't know what she's doing up this late, bro.
at 12:40 on a Thursday.
I know that's what I'm saying. I don't know.
uh, um, she heard you talking about Andrew Wiggins and she came in here.
Yeah.
No, but for the Clippers, what I put is three things. So first, it was the Paul George barking,
Mm,
but other thing on Paul George is he plays like a true point guard. Like he lets his team eat first, or
mhm,
attempt to eat first, I guess I should say.
mhm,
And he doesn't really look for his shot right away because he knows he can get his shot anytime. He's proved it, especially last year in the playoffs. He's proved that he doesn't need to shoot right away in the first quarter or right after halftime. He can, like he went on like I think a 7-0 run by himself. just within like a minute. So he can score, but he's smart to where he needs Luke Kennard. I don't know if you've seen that clip during the game today, but it's like Paul George talking to Luke Kennard as they're walking from a timeout break. He's like, "I need you." It's like Paul George knows like he can't win on his own
Oh yeah.
or on his by himself, and he also
Mhm.
knows that the NBA is about having other stars or having a lot of role players like Kawhi with Toronto, and he did that. Like he's has everybody else step up, even though I don't know how Eric Bledsoe is still a starting shooting guard in this league baffles me to this day. But I'm gonna have to let that go. Anyways, Paul George plays like a true point guard to that team, and I think he fits that role a little bit better than Kawhi did. Because I know they tried out Kawhi at first, but um, like he could take the ball down the court, pass it along, run the plays, and not have to look aggressive right away. Now at times he gets a little too passive, like in the fourth quarter when he came back in the game. Besides when he shot those two late threes and they made the second one, he was really passive. And I'm like, this is a fourth quarter, 5 minutes left. You were on the bench for like 5 minutes, 6 minutes. You should be rested now. Like this is your team.
Mhm.
So that was my first thing I took away. My second thing is when other teams go small, what roster are they going to use? Like when
Yeah.
because James Wiseman didn't play, who else in the West are you scared of scoring on you or has a big man besides the
The
Jazz and the Suns?
the Nuggets.
I guess you got the Nuggets. Okay, then you have the Lakers. So you have big men, I guess, in other teams.
Mhm.
Maybe it's just the Warriors that you don't match up well at all, and the
Mhm.
Mavericks at
Yeah.
times.
Yeah.
But when Zubac is in the game, like who can you guard if you guys go small ball? But the luxury that those teams have, like the Jazz or the Nuggets, even with Jokic, he's basically like a point center.
Yeah.
But those teams can technically still kind of go small and take Zubac away from the paint. So I was gonna say it's like what like lineup are they gonna use? I don't think they're as deep as they were in years past, but it'd be exciting to see Tyronn Lue and what he does because they made a really good run last year, better than they did with Doc Rivers. So, um, and my last thing is just how consistent can they be without Kawhi? So
Mhm.
Reggie Jackson, he plays like he played today like he was playing against the Mavericks, like he was going off. And then you have Terrence Mann who has to stepped up last year in the playoffs. And I also put Luke Kennard, who looked like a sniper today for some reason, who is
Mhm.
banging all these late deep threes. But if those three players can be consistent, this team can still be a top six seed. And then when
Yeah.
Kawhi comes back, who knows what happens in the playoffs?
Mhm.
But those three players aren't consistent, and I mean they have to be consistent. Two of the three probably have to be consistent every night.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. I agree with you there. Especially with the Zubats thing, like the I feel like that's I mean, it'll get tested in the playoffs, but I mean the regular season, but in the playoffs, like that's when it really they need to, clean it up. But it's weird, like even during this game, at first, Zubac was getting taken advantage of on the defensive end. But then like late in the like during the third and fourth quarter, like there were times when Zubac, he was taking it or he was doing well on the offensive end, like he was taking advantage of his mismatches and they were kind of utilizing him a lot. So it's kind of a weird like double-edged sword there with Zubac. So that's just something they have to work on. But yeah, like they I feel like they do kind of have the depth to kind of play around it a little bit. Um, especially like with Marcus Morris and stuff like that. They can play small balls. Having him at centers. Somebody like that. Um, uh, so
I
it's
mean they played bigger today, and they still
mhm,
got out rebounded 53 to 38 by the Warriors, and the Warriors led them in points and paint by 50 to 48, so only by two. But
mhm.
I mean that's crazy itself right there.
Yeah, yeah, it is. So I mean, yeah, it's just the Clippers are gonna have questions, and I feel like they're
Yeah.
gonna look probably inconsistent at times throughout the season. They're probably gonna be lower than they want to be, but I feel like they can definitely. be a solid team. Like you said, probably like sixth, seventh seed in the West, probably still like because they're
Yeah,
still really good. And sometimes you'll probably have a couple games where, or probably a good amount of games where just like PG pops off, or
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
you have Reggie Jackson or Luke Kennard hit a bunch of threes, stuff like that. So um,
Another stat that I just saw was the Warriors had 21 turnovers and they still won this game. The Clippers had three. I mean, sorry, seven.
wow,
The
yeah,
Warriors had 18 points off of turnovers. The Clippers
mhm,
only had six. So you
wow,
have 14 less. Yeah, they have 14. The other team has 14 more turnovers than you, yet they're outscoring you in points, or fast break points, or points are turnovers. So they made the most of it. And also the Warriors had 25 fast break points. The Clippers only had 20. So it's like you're not turning the ball over, yet the other team is doing more with the turnovers that you're making.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's just a little bit of the issues, especially without Kawhi. Uh, on a side note, about the Golden State, I kind of like Bielitsa. Like
Yeah, I like him.
like ever since I heard that he was Serbian, from Serbia, like I think they said that in the first game against the Lakers. I was like, bro, he's playing like a mini Jokic kind of. Like
Yeah.
he's good handles. He's crafty with it. Good passing. Uh, Obviously, the shot making isn't as good as Jokic, but you could kind of see the similarities in their games there.
Oh, for sure.
Uh, so I feel like if he's able to step up and kind of give them better minutes, especially when Steph's sitting, it's like him and Jordan Poole, Daniel Lee, right? Or
Damian, right?
Damian Lee. Um, uh, if they can, give you some spurts when uh, Curry's on the bench, then they'll definitely be
Yeah.
better. Uh, so but at the same time, hopefully they only have to last like a couple, like maybe like till November, early December, like so maybe like another month without Clay. So
I was thinking he's gonna be out at least until 2022.
oh yeah. Oh well, I guess we won't know. We'll have to wait and see how that goes. But
Yeah, who knows? Maybe he's on a better target than his target date, so maybe he might
mhm.
come back in December. Or if you, but I think whenever he comes back, you have to give him at least 2 to 4 weeks to get fully there mentally and physically, not just his shooting.
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah, I definitely agree there. But yeah, I think that's all we had for the Clippers and Golden State. Did you have any more questions, or we're all good?
Nah, I'm good on as far as that game.
All right.
Did you have anything?
Nah, nah, I don't have anything yet. Do you want to touch on the opening night games a little bit?
Oh yeah,
Uh,
we can.
yeah,
Pull up, pull them up real quick.
yeah, yeah. Lakers, Golden State. Uh, the Lakers team's definitely gonna be a project. Gonna be a project for sure.
I think they're gonna be a project, but I don't think it's a bad project to have when you have three of the top 75 players of all time officially by the NBA.
Yeah, I
Anthony
know.
Davis made their list, did not make mine. Made
Yeah,
Richards's, I think.
yeah, yeah. He made riches. Yeah.
But I mean, it's not a really bad problem to have, but I just think is that people are putting too much pressure on Westbrook to be this player like he was with OKC, but he only needed to be that player, and his stats looked so good and he looked so dominant. It's because he was the only person on that team.
Hmm.
So he's not gonna do that. If he's needing to do that same thing in LA, that's a bigger problem about LA than it is about Russ. I think Anthony Davis, and I agree with Charles Barkley. Anthony Davis has to be their best player for them to make the finals. Anthony Davis has to be like in the MVP race for them to
Hmm.
make the finals. LeBron's obviously gonna do what LeBron does,
Hmm.
and Russell Westbrook just needs to be consistent. That's all he. The one thing that I know he
Yeah.
struggles with
Uh,
Oh, I mean, shooting wise, like percentage wise, I guess, just efficiency wise, it's
mhm.
consistency. And
He's
I
got a
think he can do it. I mean,
yeah,
he's
yeah.
never played with the LeBron. He's
Mhm.
never played with the dominant Anthony Davis. He's played with KD, and back then it wasn't that much of an issue. But to play with two basically greats, I don't think it's going to be too much of an issue. I think it's in a more of an adjustment period. And you also got to think it's a whole different system as well. Um,
Yeah.
but the Warriors look good opening night.
Mhm.
The
Yeah, they
Warriors
did.
look really good, and then we've already touched on them today.
Mhm.
Did you have any takeaways from that game?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, I watched this video, I think yesterday or something, talking about the Lakers. It's just like Westbrook has to sacrifice, uh, like he hasn't before. Like, he's taken on this mentality of like, okay, I gotta carry the team. On Washington, on OKC when KD left, especially when KD left. Like he did that
Yeah,
for years, and uh, not really as much. On Houston, but he didn't play on with Houston that long. But like he's kind of had this mentality of like, I've got to, do all I can to carry the team, and I got to do this and I got to do that. When in reality, or on this Lakers squad, he's kind of got to take a backseat at times to LeBron, and
yeah,
kind
for
of make
sure, for sure.
he has to clean up his turnovers. Uh, because that's one of the problems he has. But like I said, like I think like they're not gonna be a losing team just because they're gonna beat teams off of like pure talent alone. Like
And I
yeah,
think this brings me back when they first got Anthony Davis. They lost their season opener to the Clippers,
yeah,
and they were pretty. I mean, then they went on a big winning streak just because
yeah,
of their supporting cast. And I think the supporting cast also, it's an adjustment period for them as well. Because usually when you play with LeBron, there's one other dominant
hmm
big man like Anthony Davis, so you can kind of fit in. But now you also got Russell, and you got Carmelo, who I think can be on and off now, especially on the
hmm
bench for the amount of
yeah,
shots he takes. He takes a little bit too many shots sometimes, which I want him to do that because he's Carmelo
and
freaking Anthony. But sometimes when he's off, you know that if you're on the bench coming off with him, your shots are going to be a little bit more limited than they probably were in the past at a different location. So you have to adjust to that as well. So I think it's an adjustment from the starting lineup to the bench. They lost some of their coaching staff with Jay Kidd going to the Mavs. I think it's an overall adjustment period. I'm still high on the Lakers just because of the experience. And I think Anthony Davis has a lot more to prove now because he got that ring, that big
hmm
contract. I think he's like showing everybody like it was not just a one hit wonder, kind of
hmm
what Giannis is showing people, which
yeah.
brings me to the other game.
Oh yeah, Milwaukee, Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think. I mean, I remember watching that game, and I was thinking, okay, we're seeing good stuff from both of these teams. Like it, I remember watching that Brooklyn game and like seeing Patty Mills light it the fuck up. I was like, bro, he's going goofy right now. Like every time he was catching it, he was running, catching it off a dribble handoff or screen. He was catching it, shooting it. Every time it was, I was like, he going crazy right now. And if he can do that a lot, like and alongside Joe Harris, like if Joe Harris can do it at a consistent rate, well, which he showed he can do last season. Not
Oh
in the
yeah.
playoffs, but if he can, I'm sure it's just mental at this point. As long as he gets over that mental hurdle, then uh, like I feel like the Nets will be good. I mean, I don't think nobody's doubting the Nets or anything like that, but they'll definitely be, very strong even without Kyrie. Harden was playing pretty well in my opinion. He was still hitting some tough shots. KD didn't have the greatest of like first halves, but he definitely picked it up in the second half, but it was kind of out of reach at that time. Chris Middleton had a great game, you know, throughout, nor like especially in the playoffs last season, he was having like kind of, mid, first halves, but then in crunch time he would pick it up. But this time he had a solid game throughout. Giannis had a great game throughout. Um, Drew Holiday was solid. I think he went out like in the second half for like a heel injury, which
Yeah.
is a little a little concerning, but it's probably nothing too serious. But I it also made me realize I forgot Milwaukee picked up Grayson Allen, which I'm like, that's low key like a really good pickup.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but so uh but yeah, yeah. I mean, it just really just reaffirmed, what we kind of already knew. Like we knew Milwaukee was gonna be good, and we knew the Nets were gonna be good. So it's gonna be
They
good
were
for everyone.
both good, but I think the Nets are kind of in the same thing as the Lakers because the Lakers got more of the big piece with Russell Westbrook coming there, but the Nets got a lot of pieces that they added, and they lost a lot of important pieces from their run last year, and now they have to kind of re-get that rhythm again. I don't
Hmm.
think their process is going to take as long as the Lakers because
Hmm.
most of their main pieces are still there, but I think the Nets are definitely going to have take some time. Obviously, you can bail on out some games with KD and James Harden, but
Hmm.
this showed me a little bit more about the Bucks coming in, getting their rings, and then coming in with all that energy,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, going up big, and then just nuts cutting it. Every NBA team knows that a lead is never safe. They cut the lead, and then anytime they get it within, I think, 5 or 6, the Bucks just scored like 4 straight buckets. The next thing you know, it's already back to a 15-point game.
Hmm.
So I hope Drew Holiday's injury is not too
Minor.
serious. Yeah,
Yeah.
I hope he's back soon because he's one of my favorite players in the league. But showed me that, the East is going to go through a couple of teams, and these two teams are definitely in there.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Uh Yeah, I kind of, I'll be honest, I kind of disagree with you. Like, I don't think they're in the same boat at all. I think, I'm definitely doubting the Lakers more than the Nets. Like, I just think Westbrook and Melo, like, they're gonna be kind of a drag on the team. Like, I mean, they're just gonna have to work out, something with the lineups. I mean, because both of them aren't really good defensively. I mean, Russ can get steals sometimes, but then there's other times when he just falls asleep on his man, and
But who
uh,
on the Nets can play defense that starts?
I mean, they've got solid defenders. I mean, like they have. I mean, Blake Griffin can be good. Nick Claxton. I mean, Katie's
Okay,
Kate.
you said Nick Claxton, right?
Yeah.
They got Anthony Davis.
Well, I know that, but I'm talking specifically about
But you said
Russ.
Russell
No,
Westbrook can't play defense. Well, James Harden can't play defense. Oh, wait, hold on. Let me not say that before Rich
I know,
attacks me
I
in
know.
text message tomorrow morning.
Yeah, yeah,
James Harden is not known to play defense. He can
yeah, yeah,
obviously play defense.
yeah, yeah. But
Um, Joe Harris, he's not known for defense. All I'm saying
yeah, yeah.
is, I'm not saying that the Nets have to do as much. I
Mm.
guess just team chemistry. They already have some, especially because they have more players that carried over from last year. Um, so I
But
think their process is going to take as long. I
mm,
also get what you're saying when you say Westbrook's going to be a bigger adjustment period, which I think is true.
mm,
But he also has more talent than the players that the Nets brought in. So I think with that talent and with him being able to be, I mean, he's a triple, like double leader.
mm.
One, I mean, he can obviously, we saw him work on his jumper this whole offseason, like Ben Simmons, and that was a dig at Ben Simmons. But I'm saying is, Russell Westbrook can adjust to the game. I think it's going to take him time, but I think they'll still get bailed out and win games early on because of LeBron and because Anthony Davis is going to start dominating, which I expect him to, because I want him to.
Yeah, yeah. I just don't know how. I mean, I just don't trust that Westbrook is gonna be able to, like, or either the Lakers or Westbrook is gonna be able to adapt to fit each other, and work well with each other. And I also don't think like uh that the Lakers have enough 3-point shooting either. But well, we'll see. We'll find out, as the season goes on, if either of us are right. But I think I think that'll do it for us tonight. If you want to go ahead and follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Shot Callers Show. Go ahead, hit us up there. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, turn on and hit the bell, turn on post notifications so you don't miss when we go live. Uh, Appreciate y'all for tuning in. You can also catch us on, pretty much everywhere you can find podcasts, Anchor FM, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Breaker, and Pocket Cast. So I think that'll do it for us tonight. That's all for me. Rich, you got anything else to say?
You said Rich.
I'm tripping. I'm tripping. I'm used
You
to Rich.
said Rich, bro.
I'm used
I
to
was like,
Rich.
is he being funny because Rich ain't on here?
Nah, nah.
And then you got
You,
quiet for a
Robin.
second. Nah, I'm good. I'm
uh,
good, guys.
it's Robin's birthday today. Lee, go ahead and say happy birthday down in the comments. Hit,
Technically, it was yesterday. Unless they
uh,
live in California, then I still got an hour.
yeah. Technically, it's 1 a.m. So it was like an hour ago. But uh, yeah, tell him happy birthday, and that'll do it for us tonight. All right, catch y'all next time.